Guys, welcome to another video with Joseph Manifesting. In today's video, I am going to share with you facts of manifesting in the hope that this strengthens your faith. For some of you, you may be more fact-based than you are of just blind faith, as I am. That's why church never worked for me. That's why people tell me things that I didn't see physical proof worked for me. Is to me, the fact are in the pudding, or the pudding's in the facts, however you want to say this. There's a wonderful video. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest it. It's called the observer effect. And it was studied by a bunch of scientists that had atoms or matter that they shot through a little slit. When there was only one slit, the matter went through that slit and ended up on the wall the way that you would expect. A very interesting thing happened when they added two slits. When there was two slits and they shot atoms through it, there ended up being about 8 or 9 lines of atoms that were on the back wall. The scientists were very confused as that didn't make sense. How did matter, when there was one slit, go where they thought it should go? However, when there was two slits, it appeared as though the atoms started making their own marks on the wall that they had in the back, and it baffled them. The conclusion they came to, they thought, well, it has to be because these atoms are bouncing off of each other, and then they're just going to these 8 different slots that they're all packed together. The next part of the experiment, they had a tool that was able to observe the atoms to try to see it coming through the slit. Another crazy thing happened. Once there was an observer to the atoms, they then went in line with the slit. So to sum this up for you, what it's ultimately saying is there is infinite potentials. However, the moment that there is an observer, there is that set potential because the observer affects the matter. We've all had those instances where we thought of somebody we haven't heard of in a year and they appear and give us a phone call, or we see them somewhere. We have all affirmed something or visualized something and then came across that experience very shortly after. The question remains then, well, why do I not see things that I'm manifesting with, like my SP or money or business or job? The answer is that everything is a vibration or energy. This is why Neville shares the feeling is the secret. What is the feeling other than a vibration that you're continuously carrying with yourself subconsciously? He shares in many of his teachings that your mood determines what you're going to experience that day. How many of you have had a week or month or year where you were just having a tough time and experience after experience after experience kept happening to you? Paying attention to your inner state. What were you vibrating or feeling at that time that then affected matter to reflect back to you what you were feeling? Now, vice versa, on more ideal terms, when you were in an ideal state, or you felt good, or you felt excited, you felt in love with life, what were the experiences that you had that you encountered outside of you? They harmonied the feeling. This is why we must not react to appearances. This is why we leave the outside appearances alone, because what ends up happening in practice is we allow the vibration of that experience to affect us, and we embody that again, creating the same thing. For manifesting a specific person or a job or money, we focus within. Well, what ends up happening when we start affirming that I'm in a loving relationship, or this is the state that I desire, that's my goal, that's my vision, and it is now true internally. Well, what ends up happening then is that there will usually be experiences that one could identify with to the contrary of this. This is where it matters. What do I do here? Do I change my energy to match the experience, or do I keep steadfast in my energy to mirror my ideal? In practical terms, do I identify with the untrue belief about what the circumstance means, or do I allow the experience to happen with absolutely no resistance? Now, you can call this no resistance, you can call it indifference, as Neville called it, you can call it acceptance, as many other spiritual teachers called it. Call it whatever it is that's helpful for you. But the important part behind this is that we are not fighting it, we are not resisting it, because the very act of fighting and resisting gives it life. So we allow the experience to be. Not that that's how it's going to be going forward, but in the moment it is. And so we allow it to be. And then we return back to our inner world and making sure we're tuned in with our ideal state. Now, why is belief so important, or why is acceptance so important? An affirmation that I'm saying to myself that I am not accepting is not changing the way that I'm feeling, which means it's not changing the way that I'm vibrating, which means that I'm not changing the atoms outside of here that appear so real to me. That's why my job is, when I'm imagining or filling the wish, but it really doesn't matter, because what you're going for is the feeling. When you pray, believe, quotation mark, feel that you have received and you shall. And this is why Neville always talks about you must wear the feeling like a fine perfume. I believe he used words similar to this. Not exactly that. All day long, you must carry this with you. A change in feeling is a change in destiny. And so you see, on a scientific level or on a fourth dimension level or a quantum field level, our feeling affects matter. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this all the time too, is that your thought is what latches you or attaches you to that thing, and then your emotion or feeling is what pulls it to you so that you don't have to go anywhere to get it. It seems to chase you. So what we're changing then is the feeling, and the feeling change is an inside job. We don't need any helper for this. We don't need to go ask for permission. We don't need to seek outside validation. We know how we're feeling, and this is the biggest indicator of how we're doing. How often am I feeling like I'm in a loving relationship? How often am I feeling like I'm abundant? How often am I feeling like I'm living my dream life? These questions should direct my intention inwardly continuously, and this is where my intention should remain. Many of us, we think, well, I'm just thinking in relation to appearances. How is this affecting anything? Neville again touches on the subject. My thoughts I have today or my feelings I have today determine my later today, my tomorrow, my next week, my next month. And so I have to change my inner feeling now, regardless of my appearances. Otherwise, how can appearances change? If my energy or my feeling determines my outside circumstances and my feelings aren't changing, how can I expect change? It doesn't make sense. And if you think of it, how could it be more fair? That I receive what I believe I have. What I give myself is what I receive. Really, the game is set up in your favor. It's set up for you to win. It's set up for you to get everything that you desire. And so I trust this video will be very helpful for you if you're very analytical or scientific, as I am. There is countless studies of this now showing our impact, the observer effect on matter. And this is the scientific reason as to why our sole job is to focus on ourselves, to focus on our feelings, to focus within, and to change the way that we're feeling. The next question is, well, how do we change how we're feeling? The answer is whatever is most ideal for you, whatever you can do to feel it real. If it's affirmations, that's wonderful, do that. If it is visualizing, that's wonderful, do that. If it's scripting, do that. Whatever it is that puts you vibrationally on the level or the frequency of the thing desired, this is what you want to do. Now you'll notice that when you're in a loving relationship and you're saying these affirmations to your person, they will reflect all these affirmations back to you. Again, through thought transmission, through energy, through subconscious. We're all English sometimes is I feel like I should have been made to learn French or something. Our subconscious minds are all connected. And so when we're feeling a certain way, this information is being shared to everybody. Hence why if I am embodying the state of whatever the goals are, if it includes 3,000 people, they will all take action in harmony with my assumption because they are all feeling my subconscious vibration or belief and acting in accordance with it because everybody's driven by their subconscious mind. To wrap up, that is the reason why we must focus simply on our vibration, on our feeling, is because our feeling affects matter. If we do not change our feeling, we are not changing matter. And so we don't look to matter to change our feeling, we look to our feeling to change the matter. We leave the outside alone. This also helps with releasing outside causes and worrying about outside things and outside circumstances because we realize our sole goal is to feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled. If emotions come up, allow the emotions to be. If there's outside circumstances that happen, allow the outside circumstances to happen with indifference, acceptance, whatever word helps serve you. Let it be. Offer it no resistance. And you'll find very quickly that that circumstance will then leave you, as it will only continue to show up if it is given any meaning, if it's given resistance, it is then given permission to be there. If it's not offered that, the circumstance will completely leave you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That is the end of the video. If you love Neville Goddard, inner work development, this channel is definitely for you. I ask you to subscribe, as all my information is on those topics. Please leave a comment and share if you found this helpful. Thanks for watching, guys.